Hi, beautiful.
Oh my goodness. Hey, sweetheart.
How are you?
I am good. I am good. How are you?
Oh,
You look
it's
gorgeous.
Thank you. So do you. I'm so excited to be chatting with you today.
Totally. Me too. I'm almost like
We've never talked face to face.
exactly. I mean, we've written a bunch, but yeah, like face to face and just, it's so lovely to see you, sweetheart. Oh my
You
goodness.
too.
I feel like I have so many questions and so many things I want to talk about, but
Oh, absolutely same. Well, I wanted to start off by saying I have been such a big fan of you for so long. I mean, ever since I can remember, since my teen days and your collaboration with the knife, it was just so transcendent and so experimental and create. I just had to fangirl a little bit. I'm really honored that you asked me to do this.
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The pleasure and the honor is all mine. My goodness. I was thinking today, like, of our musical journeys, and I'm so fascinated by you and what you do and also your new project. And oh my God, you're such a massive talent as well. So I'm just like,
Thank you. Thank you. You too.
oh my gosh. Well, can I start to ask you a little bit about Messer?
Yes, yes, please.
First of all, I love the title. I mean, I love the artist name. Obviously, it's so
Thank
cool.
you.
I know what it means. Living in Germany for 20 years, I know what it means. So, but tell me about it. How did it start?
So I think it's been something that's sort of been underway for a while, definitely internally. Um, and I always knew I had a voice in there. I didn't know really how, I didn't know how to put a name to it or a face to it or a message. And I think during the pandemic, right when it started, it
Yeah.
was such a jarring experience for so many of us, obviously. But it really put a lot of things into perspective for me. And I thought a lot about, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? I
Oh,
know I have things to say creatively,
mm,
artistically, that I haven't yet. And so as soon as the planets aligned, the music just sort of poured out of me. And
mm.
I had the name Messer actually even before the music came out. We had already started working on the visuals
Oh,
a
lovely.
year before a song was written, pretty much.
But isn't that cool? Like, isn't like I mean, totally like the visual side of anyway, an artist project is, in my opinion, like so important. I totally relate to that. Like, playing around with like my identity and like making music definitely made me understand my personal queerness and like being non-binary and stuff. But it's so much fun,
Yeah.
and then like putting that together with like your musical world is just like it's my favorite thing to do, and especially videos as well. It's just so much fun.
It's the best. It's really fulfilling. And what I love about your music specifically is that it's always felt like a celebration. And it doesn't even have to be a celebration of positive feelings necessarily. It can just be you purely emoting from a very human place.
Yeah.
And I think that's what art is, honestly. I think it's a celebration of humanity and of real human feelings.
Yeah.
And
Abs-
through that, we can connect through other people.
I'm really touched that you say that, Mitch, because I honestly like I say this often, and I really mean it. That music and art has completely saved my life so many
Oh,
times.
yeah.
Like, really got me through stuff, made me like push myself in a good way,
Okay.
to help myself grow and like understand myself. I don't know how else I would have done it. I don't know who I would have been if I didn't have that. And that's what Planning to Rock has always been for me. It's been that
Yeah.
place where no one can touch me. It's my world. Fuck off, like
Yeah.
it's mine. I own it, and only me can do it. Like
Yeah.
so I'm kind of untouchable, right? Is it? I mean,
Definitely.
is something like that. Is Messer a bit like that for you too?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's this thing that's very precious to
Mm.
me, to us.
Yeah.
It's deeply personal. It's very much like this is my kingdom, and I'm
Yeah.
going to do what I want.
Yeah.
And I had another point to that, but I just lost my train of thought. What I when people normally ask me about the artistry for Messer, I usually say that I guess just as an artist in general, this is how we are. The personal growth sort of parallels the artistic growth because,
Yeah.
of course, they are one and the same
Yeah.
as musicians, you know.
Absolutely. I think I have a question actually for you that I have experienced often that I've made a record and in a way been so much in the moment and been sort of writing about my feelings and my situation and not fully really understanding the scale of it until like later, like when it's
Yeah.
been when the record's out, and then I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, right, okay, I know even more now, like what that was about. Like, not to blow my own trumpet, but like I can say that about my own stuff maybe, that there's a precision in a way, like an emotional precision in the lyrics sometimes where I'm blown away because in the moment, like for example, Wounds, which is the opening track on Powerhouse,
I love that one.
I just did that in one take. It's not
Wow.
edited or anything. I literally got to the studio, was at a time when I had to like just let a lot of stuff out, and it just came out in one. And at the time, especially working so much on my own, I guess I don't really think about it so much. I'm like, yeah, it's what I do. I've been doing it a long time. But
Yeah.
sometimes like I listen back to that track and I'm like, Jesus, there's an emotional position there that's taken years to get to, you know?
Absolutely.
You know, like, and definitely singing as well. Like, Mitch, your voice, oh my gosh. I mean, you must get this all the time, but
Thank you.
oh my gosh. It's like,
Thank you.
you carry that around in your body, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's so
Thank
beautiful.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I've had similar experiences to what you're describing with Wounds. I think even with a song like Roses on my EP, the simplicity is when you're in the moment writing it, I think when it's simple, when I go into it knowing it's a simple song, I sort of allow myself to lose my inhibitions because I'm like, oh, well, it's just simple. But
Right.
in that way, you kind of are led more by your intuition because it is such a distilled message that you're writing about. And then when you look at it from the other side of it being completed, you're like, oh, this actually means a lot. And I'm saying a lot here.
Yeah, it's like almost like at the moment it's like simple, but after you're like, that's naked. That is so raw and naked. There's nothing simple about it.
Absolutely.
Dense, you know?
Yes.
Yeah,
Totally.
they're like treasures. They're like little gems of like personal achievements, I guess. Like, you know, through those moments, like creatively in a way, you've pulled yourself through something. You have gone over a threshold, and you're just gonna get better. You know, like it's gonna get better. You are gonna just grow in a really cool way through it. So I'm so grateful to music. Like, and what a crazy language. It's invisible, don't right? It's
Yes.
stuff that we can either like feel and like the vibrations, or we carry it in our bodies, in our minds, but you never see it. I'm always blown away by that.
I am too. I am too. And what really freaks me out is there is certain music that I enjoy listening to or that I enjoy making that I still don't really understand why I like to make it, but maybe that's the magic about certain music, is that it doesn't need a context to be enjoyed. And I think that just seems to be an unconscious habit that I had fallen into, wanting to place music in certain avenues and categorize. And I think what excites me the most is art that doesn't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so curious, like, what are your plans? Are you going to play, are you going to perform live? Like,
Yes.
I'm going to make you spill some beans, but like, I'm really curious. Because this is also another, I just did a couple of shows in the UK, and it's the first time I've performed in like 2 years. And I had no idea how much I miss performing. It's such a crucial element to what we do. This connection, the human sort of factor of it. And I came back with so much energy, Mitch. I was just like, like so like kind of energized from this experience of sharing, you know, with real people. So yeah, so
absolutely.
What's your do you have any plans to perform?
I don't have any concrete plans right now. The end of the year is normally a really good time for me, but it's something I think about a lot. I think what I'm struggling with now is not having a very wide collection of songs at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So everything, you know, at the beginning of a creative process, it really is just a waiting game, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Waiting and also actively working. So
Yeah, totally. That
it
too,
can be
absolutely.
a bit frustrating, but I totally agree with you. Performing live is just there's for people like us, there's nothing like it. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
really does. The connection is so validating
Yeah,
in both
exactly.
ways.
Totally.
Very, it makes me feel very seen, literally and figuratively.
Yeah. I think also um it can even be like a really like crucial, well, I have in the past kind of almost a little bit written songs on stage, you know, like just because the energy there and like literally thinking what songs do I want, what kind of music do I want to perform on stage and share with
Yeah.
people. And I sometimes like, well, I mean, COVID's changed so much, but like I was DJing quite a lot and I would DJ sketches just to see, you know, how people were reacting to it and that. And that's a really fun way. So this like sharing with people is just, yeah, it's like so much fun. But again, like what you can do on stage as a performer is like, I find it fascinating. I just find it so fascinating that we just decide that like we'll stand on a stage on a platform and then lots of other people will just stand in front of us and that's the show, you know. Like
Yes.
it's like what a phenomenon, you know, like, and you can do it anywhere, you know. You can just suddenly stand up in a public space and decide you're going to do a performance and everybody
Yeah.
will like, I'll be your audience, you know. It's such a wonderful sort of like agreement we have, you know, like,
It is.
and a space. I think it's a beautiful space as well.
Yes, yes, absolutely. It's very special to give a performer their time
Oh yeah,
and not yeah, it's a very unusual sort of unspoken bond between performer and audience.
absolutely, absolutely. Oh my gosh.
But
So
I think I would be so excited if I saw you DJing and you dropped a little project to come. I would be dancing because your music is just so enjoyable. It's so
thank you
danceable. Of
so much. Thank you.
course.
It's really it's really interesting to, you know, like it's like 4 albums now, and to feel like to listen back to like early PlanningToRock and like W and Doorway and that time. And you know, I remember at the time people would say like, oh, it's so heavy, and it's like liking it but saying it's so heavy. And at the time I thought it was like super playful and really funny, you know. You know.
Yeah.
And then I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe it was a little dark, I don't know, but you know. But
Yeah.
but it
Yeah,
wasn't it initially though.
that's what I like about what you do is there is that playfulness in there,
Yeah,
even in the stoic moments.
yeah.
There's playfulness because being an artist, being a human is objectively funny. It's weird and funny and
It totally is.
goofy and I think it's okay to have a good sense of humor about it.
Absolutely. And then drama.
And then drama.
I do like a little drama for sure.
Of course. We're
It's just,
theatrical.
oh my God, I love it so much. I do. I love it so much. You know,
I'm just
go on,
I
sorry.
think what's another thing about your music is that I've always been inspired by is how, and I don't even want to use the word simple because that seems reductive, how concentrated it is. And
Oh.
that's something that I've always admired in musicians and in their
Mhm.
music. And it is such an art form and it's so difficult to achieve. So
That
I would
is
love
really,
to hear. I've always been curious about your process.
it's, yeah, this is a great question actually, because I think, if I think about the music that I've always liked the most, it's tended to be actually quite, I like this word concentrated rather than simple, but it's got to the point. It's not had that many elements, but all the elements that are there are the right amount. And say, for example, like with I guess I love synth pop a lot. Always have.
Mm.
Like when I was a teenager, I was listening to Erasure a lot and Bronski Beat. everybody else was listening to the Smiths, you know,
Mm.
whatever. But it was like, I really loved this, like, kind of really gay synth pop, you know,
Yeah.
and it really spoke to me. Really, I like really nice, fun, easy to remember melodies, and then content. And I think this is like a really fascinating combination of like having a lot of like a really dense story maybe, but told
Yeah.
quite simply, and
Mm.
then with this really like catchy kind of synth. And this can happen also like if I think about W and I think about the breaks, this I wrote that song so quickly, and I don't know about you, Mitch, but I really learned over the years that to not overthink things.
Yeah.
You know, like, and to remember to have fun, because even when you're dealing with heavy stuff, it's like to allow yourself to really be free and playful and not like kind of limit yourself, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. And
Yeah.
that's in a way, so if I start a track, a lot of the times in a way I'll just be like, whatever I want to do, I'll just like jam around and play and whatever, and then I'll leave it, and then I'll go back to it the next day and be like, start listening, that was fun, that was interesting, and then I'll start doing something vocal with it. And that's how
Yes.
I write, basically. Totally.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. So inspiring. It really, really is. Because I think it's so daunting, especially for me, somebody who has perfectionist tendencies. It's
Oh.
daunting to want to start. I think the
Mm.
starting point is the scariest point for me,
It
but
is.
it's all about just doing it and just trusting your gut and your intuition.
Absolutely. And also like I'm not a perfectionist, but I like to be precise.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a difference there, but and I also like W was a very hard album for me because I had such a high expectation of what I wanted from that album, and then a friend gave me some amazing advice and said, look, this is one album. You're not gonna do all the albums in your head in this album, you know,
Yeah.
like one album at a
Wow.
time. And it's really helpful because of course, like, you have, you know, we have so many aspirations, like there's so much music I want to make, but I just focus on the music I'm making right now, you know.
Yeah.
And that's really helpful advice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's an amazing way to look at it. Yeah.
I
There
mean,
there
for
does.
you, you're gonna have so much music in you, Mitch, that you have, like, you want to make, you know, and like rather than kind of like put a pressure on yourself, like just, you know. And the other thing about, I think, is starting as well is like again, like, to have the fun, because you have to think about like where you're writing from, and just like let yourself just do anything.
Yeah.
Because it's surprising. I don't know if you have this experience, but I also like, I will work for like 3 hours and then I'll stop and just do something totally different. And usually I go back and listen to what I've done, and I'm like, oh my God, what the hell did I do? You know, like, I'm always surprised. Most of the time, thank goodness, in a good way.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, like, one's perception of what you're doing is never accurate, really. So
Yeah.
you must never think about it too much, because what you're thinking about isn't what you think anyhow. So just let it go, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It does. I would say 99% of the time when I leave a song alone and I return to it, it always sounds different to me.
Right. It's quite like it's quite fascinating. Like
Yeah.
yeah, and like I've been doing a lot of remix. I enjoyed so much making your remix. I was like, I feel so like, I always have
I
these like
mean,
remixes in my phone, and I'm listening to all these like really cute remixes, and yours I listen to a lot.
I love that remix. I was so excited that you said yes. I was like,
Oh
oh
my
my
God, of
God.
course. I was so flattered that you asked. Totally.
Oh, of course. It's but even with that remix, you took the elements of the song and really, really made it your own and made it your signature. And it's just so impressive to me. It really is.
Thank you so much, sweet.
Of course.
That's so much fun to do. And again, like with me, I love making remixes because, first of all, it gives me a chance to play with my friends, you know, in a really
Yeah.
cool way. Also to facilitate somebody else's story, because I work so much on my own stuff and my own story that it's really nice to have a break from me sometimes. So
Oh yeah.
and also again, like musically, for me, it's really the challenge is to make something that doesn't exist. You know, like the original already exists and has its own identity. So to make something quite different to that, and it's really like from a sort of writer's perspective, it's really nice, a really fun challenge. Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a challenge that I'm interested in as well. And I think I get sometimes my anxiety when I'm creating is my desire to create something never heard before. Is that too big of an ask of my, and am I putting too much pressure on myself? But
Yeah.
I'm really only interested in making music that does that. So I can't really make an excuse for myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that's a frightening pressure you put on yourself.
I know.
Wait,
That's what I
don't
do.
it. Oh my gosh,
I know, but
so,
it's, you know, you keep all of these feelings inside because I'm mostly writing alone, and
yeah.
it's just so nice to have people like you in my life that can say, just relax. Like I've been
Totally.
through it.
But you know, also I don't know, like one day I will, I don't know, sometime in the future, I will release the very first music I ever made. And because it's so funny, first of all, like to hear my voice, I sound like a little mouse. I really, you know, I was just like trying to sing on my own. You know, I'd never performed or anything. Because for me, like performing on stage is where I really found my voice. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I've got
Oh,
lungs. I can really sing. Like before that, I was like, I didn't really know I could sing. And the recording, they are so like so much music that already existed, you know, and in a way,
yeah.
like I was embarrassed by that, but actually how else can we learn to make music other than make music that is like people that we like, you know?
Yeah.
And of course, like everything that I do, it's planning to rock, but of course there's a lot of influences there, you know?
Yeah.
I'm influenced by a lot of people, like
Yes.
all the people that I love and their music and that. So I'm also like embrace that as well, you know?
Yeah.
Of course it's you. It's not going to be anybody else but you know?
Right.
You can also like honor your like heroes as well while you're working. So I think so. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's no shame in being
No,
inspired or
not
influenced
at
at
all.
all. It's beautiful.
But I think maybe I don't want to like presume, but I think this like sort of discovering in a way your own like kind of artist identity, that is a personal journey, you
Most.
know, and
Yeah.
definitely like you know, like when I don't know, when we see artist friends or you know, like doing that, I mean, I don't know, I just find it such a fascinating journey. And I, you know, like I'm surrounded by so many friends who are doing that all the time, you know, and
Yeah.
questioning, you know, like what is their like kind of artistic identity. And I just find it very interesting personally. I don't think it's like there's a right or a wrong or a good or a bad. I love it all actually.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And,
Yeah.
you know, to that point, I would say as queer artists too, I think
Mm,
now that we've liberated ourselves in that
mm,
regard,
yeah.
it frees up the limitations of our artistry, and we give
Mhm.
ourselves more permission to do more exploration because we've already done so much of it concerning
Absolutely.
our identity. And you know, identity is intermingled within art, of course,
Yeah.
but that's that's one of the reasons why I'm proud to be a musician that is queer, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, oh my gosh, so much so, so much so. And also like it's so important like to have, if I think like, you know, I was like, you know, okay, so because in a way I was a teenager in the 80s, like, you know, there wasn't internet, I didn't have this access, so I was pretty starved. And I think now it's just so exciting to have so many incredible artists and queer artists who
Yes,
are just doing their thing, and they're so inspiring and taking that space, you know. And
definitely.
oh my gosh, like it's so important. And for me it's like I have, yeah, it's really, and like yourself Mitch, totally, I just find it so exciting actually.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. And again, like I'm so grateful to music and to video and to performance and to makeup and
Mm-hmm.
and to prosthetics and all this
Yes.
stuff
Likewise.
for helping me build my world. You know, like I love this
Yes.
stuff. I mean, fashion. I mean, my gosh, like it's like such an important vehicle, like of expression, and that together with music is just, yeah, it's the best.
It is. It is. That's fashion is another thing that I love so much, and I also can't place a finger on what I love about it so much.
Yeah.
You could, of course, objectively look at a silhouette and say that's good,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I don't really know what that means. But somehow it makes sense, you know. I think it's just it's another component of the world that we create as artists.
Absolutely. Like the very first performances I used to do was I would like make these helmets and masks and things, and I made this like Elizabethan ruff that I'd always wear, made out of cardboard, you know. And people would always be like, "Why do you hide yourself?" And I'm like, "I don't hide myself. I'm expanding myself.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
making myself big, you know.
Yeah,
I want people to look at me."
of course. Yes, yes, yes. I've gotten that before too, because I tend to go for a larger silhouette. I've gotten a question like, why do you hide? Like, I don't feel like I'm hiding.
Oh,
I don't
no.
want to hide, you know?
Yeah, it's I'm all about maximum, not minimum in that sense, and also, you know, like fashion in a way is fantastic for that. You know, it you know, it's all about shape shifting, expanding on our forms, and being interpreted how
Yeah,
you want to be interpreted, and playing so much with that. You know,
yeah, absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. Yes,
totally.
you put it better than I did.
No, we put it together.
Yes, you're right.
But it's just so like I had it so much. People like try, you know, saying like you're hiding, and I'm like, I'm not. And I'm like, you know, I'm so not hiding because everybody's looking at me. If I wanted to hide, I wouldn't do this. You know.
Right, absolutely.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's a really good
I'm
point.
getting so much attention because I'm running around with a cardboard head. You know, like yeah, that's I would do the opposite. You know. So.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, totally. It's the best. It's totally the best.
Oh, I had another point. I had another thing I wanted to ask you. So spacey today. I apologize.
No, don't worry. What time is it where you are now?
It is nearly 11:30 a.m.
Oh my gosh. It is 8:30 in the evening here, and it's totally dark here now. It gets dark
Oh
here
yeah.
at 5:30 in the evening already.
How do you feel about that?
I'm getting used to it. You know, this basically here we have very, very not much light in winter, and then in June there's no night. You know, it's like just light.
Is that in Germany?
No, I'm in Estonia now. I'm in Tallinn, Estonia. I'm even more north.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like we have the night lights, you know, in the sky, and
Oh yeah.
we're very north. So
Wow, brilliant.
yeah. I should be getting more south, you know, like it's warmer down south, but I don't know. I found love up here, so.
Oh, so sweet. I always see your posts about your partner. It's very sweet.
Oh, she's the best. She's totally the best.
I can tell there's.
She's in the bedroom watching this now with our dog. So.
Oh really? Hi. Hope to meet you one day.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna come. But you're in LA, right?
Yes.
Oh my god, I love LA so much. Really.
Kind of the best.
It really is. I mean, I was born in the north of England. I lived in Berlin 20 years, and now I'm basically in Antarctica. When I was in LA, I was like, are you kidding? It's blue sky every day. Oh my God, what?
I know. It really does not get old. Oh, I was going to ask you, do you prefer, when do you feel you're most creative? What time of the day?
Okay, I'm a weirdo. I'm a morning person. Not usual for musicians. But yeah. Oh, Reno, she says hi. Oh my God, that's so cute.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm really I like working in the day a lot, and I work a lot in the studio on my own, and then sometimes I'll just go and sit in a cafe with my laptop and just be surrounded by people and work in
Oh,
all kinds of
wow.
things. Just because I work so much on my own, and sometimes when I'm working on an arrangement and I'm listening to it and I'm just in a public space, just the feeling of people around me really, I don't know, it really helps me, you know.
Wow.
So
Fascinating. That's
yeah.
something I've never, I'm actually, I find myself more energized in the morning as well.
Oh,
So we're kindred spirits in that way. I'm not sure what it is. I think just the promise of a new day really excites me. And then by like 6 p.m., I'm probably already in bed.
yeah.
But
I mean, I'm honestly, I'm the same. I think it might be that my brain's not woken up yet. So that's the good thing. I'm just like,
yes,
I just start doing things. I don't overthink things, you know.
yes,
Maybe.
there might be something to that. Yeah, I think it's so interesting that you write in public. That's something that would probably terrify me.
I recommend it. Like, even like, I mean, in summer, I'll go and sit in a park with my headphones and laptop and just like, and there's something about being in a public space. It removes this over preciousness about being in the studio and like, what am I doing? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It shifts the context and it really helps. It's very freeing, I think.
I think
Yeah.
that's a brilliant idea. You're giving a
Yeah.
lot of great advice
Oh,
today.
I'm glad to be helpful. What about
Yes.
yourself though? Like, are you like, how do you write?
How do I write? Well, it's typically, I need some sort of control over the starting point. So
Okay.
I will, I'll normally go into my little home studio right now and I'll make a really bare bones track, and I'll start with melody, and then I'll listen to it on loop, and I'll write down some keywords and phrases that they make me feel, that the music makes me feel, and try to solidify an idea from that Rolodex of ideas.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
That is nice.
But it's frustrating. It's a frustrating process, and I'm still learning. You know, it feels like I'm still in my infancy in terms of writing music, because I come from a pop music background where
Yeah.
the perspective on writing and releasing music is much different.
Can you tell me how? I have no insight.
Oh yeah. So for me, in my experience, it seems as though the pop world wants you to make something accessible. I mean, I think one of the top priorities of making pop is that it's somewhat accessible, and there's this sort of unspoken fervor in which you need to create. Like, you need to put out this project as soon as possible, make a video with it as soon as possible, do everything formulaic, and I can appreciate that mode of work, but sometimes my body just doesn't let me work like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
You know?
it's hard to do that like that all the time. Like,
Yes.
it's a strain on the creative juices a bit, like, you know.
It is. And I think some people really have a knack for that. And that almost aligns, I think, with a sort of business savvy. Is you know what the product should be, and how you want to do it and who you want to sell it to. And I do think that's a skill. I don't know if I have that skill necessarily.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's really interesting. Like, it's almost, I mean, there are some times where I write every day. That's another thing. Like, every day. And sometimes I try and write like a track every day, which sounds like, oh my God, it's not like those tracks will become anything, but I really like to sort of just write, you know.
Yes.
It also satisfies me, like, emotionally. I get withdrawal symptoms if I'm not creative a bit, which sounds massively dramatic, but it's just the way it is.
No, I feel the exact same way. I feel very off balance if I don't do something creative.
I don't feel right. Yeah, exactly. And but what I wanted to say, actually, a bit back, and I forgot, I'd like to share with you, is I discovered something which really helped me writing lyrics, because is another thing is when you're in the studio, you know, we're usually just sat not moving. We're in our heads. And so what I did for Powerhouse is I booked myself a dance studio and went there and I performed, like I just vocally jammed with the instrumentals.
Yeah.
It really, really helped me because I was in
Wow.
my body. I was kind of writing from a different place than not just my head. I was like,
Yeah.
how am I feeling? How am I feeling about this track? It was really, I recommend it. Like if you're writing and you're like, I want a different kind of experience of writing, it really helped me. And there's a couple of tracks on Powerhouse that the vocals I did in the dance studio, I just kept them and used them on the record because I had such an energy.
Yeah.
They were kind of performed in private. And it
Wow.
completely, yeah, and it's also really fun, you know, just like
It sounds very fun.
yeah.
I think that's really, really a brilliant idea, actually, because you're absolutely right. We do get stuck in our heads sometimes when we're in the studio, but to have body and mind working together for a creative output, I think is such a good idea. I think it'll definitely bring a new energy.
Absolutely. I think also just in terms of our queer bodies as well, you know, because I think, I mean, for me, it was really important and definitely like, I also would say like with Powerhouse, like I started to take some testo. I was like starting some kind of non-linear transitioning and my body was feeling a lot of things and I wanted that to be part of the writing, you know?
Yeah.
To write from my body.
Wow.
You know, so yeah.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I've been on my personal journey. I've been working on becoming more comfortable, I think, in my own skin.
Yeah.
And that is something I believe that a good portion of the queer population is familiar with. Growing up queer, not really realizing you're queer yet, you know, it's bringing the body into play can be really, really challenging. Totally. And can bring you to dark spots, I think, sometimes. But the more you use your body and the more you trust it, the more comfortable you're going to feel physically and I think also mentally as well, creatively.
Absolutely. And also like, not to sound statistic, but like to use uncomfortableness, you know, like there were times when I experienced a lot of body dysphoria and all I wanted to do was escape myself somehow, but instead, in a way, I stuck with myself and also performed with myself, you know. And again, like there's some real magic that happens like that, you know. Really, really can really happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the more you align yourself with yourself.
Yeah. Or with yourselves.
With yourselves. I think the stronger your work is going to be, your creative work.
Yeah. And also just like that personal journey, you know, that achievement in your work as well. Like, yeah, totally. Yeah. Oh my God, I wish now I was just in LA with you.
I know you have to come visit.
I do. I just want to spend the whole day with you. It's lovely to chat, but like I just want to spend the whole day with you.
I know, we need to hang out. We need to jam. Rent a dance studio.
Hell yeah. Oh my God, that would be so much fun.
Come here for a summer vacation maybe. Deal. Perfect.
Can I come for a few months, please? Yes,
most definitely. We'll write a couple records.
Oh yeah, easy peasy. Yes. I do work a lot. Like I do like produce a lot. Like and that's another thing I think I've got better at. I think that's something that I've learned. Is how can I put it? I wanted to say that not to be too precious, but at the same time, of course, it's really precious what I'm doing. For myself, it's very precious, but knowing when not to be too precious. When
not to withhold an idea, perhaps.
Exactly. Yeah, and be a bit punk with it.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
Kind of like, you know.
Yeah, I think that can be a scary notion for some. It's scary for me I think I was just growing up, I was so used to chasing some sort of formula, whatever that may be. And now I finally have the opportunity to fulfill myself spiritually.
Yeah, totally. Wow, I'm so curious. I mean, the EP is beautiful. I'm just so curious what, what your next steps are, like, completely. Absolutely. I mean, the world's your oyster.
Yes. That's how I feel too. That's how I feel. I think that's how every young artist should feel. And
Absolutely.
it's daunting, but it's a beautiful, exciting feeling, certainly.
Absolutely. Oh, Mitch. It's so lovely to talk to you. So
You
lovely.
too.
I
Thank you
guess,
for inviting me.
oh, absolutely. Thank you for being here.
Of
And
course.
I have this, like, this is gonna sound super cheesy. I'm gonna do it on live chat anyhow, but like, I just feel so connected with you, and I just cannot wait to hug you in person. So
Oh, same. Likewise. I think we definitely are kindred spirits.
we
I
are.
feel
We
very
are.
connected as well. This
So
has been an honor, truly.
an
Seriously.
absolute pleasure, sweetheart.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna come to LA, and we're gonna make a record.
Yes. That's all 17-year-old Mitch would want.
Consider it done.
Oh,
Consider
thank
it
goodness.
done. Okay then, my darling. Have a lovely rest of the day in LA, and it's been wonderful talking with you.
Thank you very much. Have a great night. Mwah.
Thank you.
Love you.
Ciao, ciao, Mitch. Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.